Brian Shaffer, the man who walked into a bar and vanished. On a cold Friday night in 2006, a 27-year-old medical student named Brian Shaffer walked into a busy bar in Columbus, Ohio. Dozens of witnesses saw him laughing, drinking, and talking with friends. Security cameras captured him entering the building, clear as day. And then, without ever being seen leaving, Brian vanished. No trace, no confirmed sightings, just a man who walked into a bar and never walked out. This is one of the most baffling disappearances in modern American history. And once you hear the details, you might understand why. On April 1st, 2006, the night air carried a faint hum of bar music, laughter, and intoxicated chatter drifting into the streets. The arena district was alive, as it always was. College students celebrating the weekend, locals unwinding, strangers blending into the anonymity of the night. Among them was 27-year-old medical student Brian Shaffer, tall, handsome, charming, intelligent. Medical school had pushed him to exhaustion, and life had already dealt him a heavier blow. Just 3 weeks earlier, his mother, Renee, had died after a long battle with cancer. Tonight, Brian wanted distraction, a drink, a night with friends, a moment of escape. He walked into a bar, the Ugly Tuna Saloona, and somehow never walked out. This is the last known night of Brian Shaffer, and this is how he vanished without a trace. To understand how impossible this disappearance is, we need to walk through Brian's night step by step. 7 p.m., Brian met his father, Randy, at a local steakhouse. Randy later said Brian seemed tired, exhausted, even but not depressed. He laughed. He talked about vacation plans with his girlfriend, Alexis, and he appeared hopeful about the future. 9:00 p.m. Brian met up with his friend Clint Florence, a classmate. Brian didn't drink heavily often, but that night he loosened up. They bar hopped across Columbus, becoming progressively more intoxicated. 11:30 p.m. The two men met Clint's friend Meredith Reed, who drove them to the Ugly Tuna. She even paid for their first round. Brian was smiling, laughing, chatting easily. Everything about him seemed normal. The Ugly Tuna wasn't just any bar. It sat on the second floor of a building accessible only by a rising escalator. At the top of that escalator hung a surveillance camera, one of the few in the bar at that time. It recorded everyone entering and everyone leaving. Inside, the bar was dim neon lights flickering off the walls, bodies swaying to loud music, bartenders yelling drink orders over the noise. It was spring break season, and the crowd was dense. Brian, though visibly intoxicated, talked to patrons, laughed with Clint, and mingled effortlessly. 1:55 a.m. Brian was seen by the entrance camera talking to two female students. He smiled, waved, and stepped out of view, heading back deeper into bar. This is the last confirmed footage of Brian Shaffer on Earth. His friends searched for him as the bar prepared to close. At 2:15 a.m., Clint assumed Brian left without saying goodbye, something not unusual in loud bar environments. Clint and Meredith headed down the escalator and went home. Brian never made it out. He simply vanished from inside the building. Detectives studied the camera footage for days, slowing it, enhancing it, checking every face and movement, every exit past the camera. Every back door was locked or alarmed. Every staff route was accounted for. They checked. People obscured by other patrons. People in hats or bulkier clothing. Groups leaving in clusters. No one resembled Brian. The footage was conclusive. Brian Shaffer did not leave through the main exit, but he also wasn't found inside. Some speculate Brian walked away intentionally. After all, he'd lost his mother weeks earlier. Medical school was crushing him. He had expressed vague thoughts about needing a break from everything. But psychologists highlight contradictions. He was planning a beach trip with girlfriend Alexis. He was doing well academically. He showed no suicidal ideation. He loved Alexis deeply. She was the first person he called every morning. He left behind his car, apartment, wallet, passport, his savings untouched. People planning to start a new life don't disappear with nothing. This theory collapses under scrutiny. What if Brian never left the bar alive? Imagine Brian wanders into a restricted area. He's intoxicated. He pushes the wrong door, falls down a shaft, Or accidentally hit something heavy in the construction zone? Could someone inside the bar have panicked and hidden his body? Detectives tore apart the Ugly Tuna. Freezers, storage rooms, HVAC areas, ceilings, elevator shafts, trash chutes, rooftops. Construction sites, cadaver dogs were brought in. No trace, no blood, no clothing, no remains. The odds of hiding a body in this environment, without leaving a single clue, are astronomically low. The one other possible exit was through a construction zone behind the bar. To escape this way, Brian would need to know the door existed, slip past employees unnoticed, navigate a dark, debris-filled maze, scale or squeeze through fences, avoid all street cameras, walk away without being seen despite being intoxicated. Police searched the site extensively. No trace. Suspicion turned to Clint Florence, the friend Brian partied with. Clint was the last person seen talking with Brian, known to drink heavily, rumored to have argued with Brian earlier that night, the only key person who refused a polygraph multiple times. Clint hired an attorney quickly and has not spoken about the case publicly in nearly 20 years. But Clint's lawyer made one thing clear. My client has told the police everything he knows. No evidence linked Clint to any wrongdoing. Several college-age men disappeared across Midwestern cities from the late 1990s onward. Many were found in rivers. The proposed perpetrator was dubbed the Smiley Face Killer. Some believe Brian may have been targeted by a serial predator, but there were no signs of abduction. No water near the bar. This theory adds dramatic flair, but lacks supporting evidence. Months after Brian vanished, his girlfriend Alexis kept calling his phone every night just to hear it go to voicemail. But one night, the phone didn't go straight to voicemail. It rang 3 times. A ping registered near Hilliard, Ohio, miles away. The phone company claimed it was a glitch. Detectives disagreed. Was Brian out there? Was someone using his phone? Was it accidentally turned on? No answers ever surfaced. Brian's father, Randy, spent the remaining years of his life searching, begging for answers, and hoping his son was alive somewhere. He put up billboards. He followed leads. He drove across states for false sightings. He died in a tragic accident in 2008. On his obituary page, someone posted, "Brian is alive. He is safe. He will return someday." The IP address traced to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Police believe it was a hoax, but the message haunts the case. Brian Shaffer's disappearance remains unsolved because no trace of him exists anywhere. No evidence supports foul play or suicide. The case stands at a terrifying intersection between the perfect crime and the perfect accident. A straight-A medical student, a loving boyfriend, a man on the edge of a promising future, evaporated from the world. If Brian is alive, he has built a new identity stronger than any digital footprint. If he died, his body lies somewhere no one has thought to look. And if something else happened, the truth has been buried so deeply that time alone may never reveal it.